Hello and welcome, Editorial Edge, Saturday, the 8th of July 2023. I am Bhuvan Apurva Jha. Once again, welcome to each one of you, those who are watching me live, those who will be connecting with me over the course of the next 1 hour, as well as those who will be watching this over the course of the day and thereafter. You are most welcome to another edition, another iteration of the Editorial Edge. 3 articles, 2 from the Indian Express and 1 a follow-up of what we had just covered 2 days ago. Again, very important from the prelims perspective. And you are looking at the tangents of today, again, primarily from the prelims perspective, but obviously you will have to prepare for certain topics from the mains objective in mind too, right? So that's on the agenda. Good morning, all those of you who are joining me, and we will straight away jump into the discussion. So if you haven't joined me so far, go ahead and join my Telegram channel. Okay, I share most of the information that is put out on YouTube. It comes there first, so that the students have a fair idea of what topics are to be discussed during the day. Right? Good morning, Madhusudan. You are most welcome. Welcome. Hi, Rian. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Sri Lakshmi, good morning. All right. So the first article that I have for you guys is from the Indian Express. Right? So it's an article from the Indian Express. And so we'll take a look at, so as a citizen, what's your responsibility? Okay. What's your responsibility? What rights do you have in terms of, say, symbols of India? Okay. We'll discuss not just, say, the national anthem. Obviously, that will be the focus of our discussion. But we'll take a look overall as to understand, say, the power of symbols also. You know, because national anthem, national flag are essentially what? The symbols of India. They represent India. So what does it mean? We'll also take a look at the history of national anthem. What's the controversy around it, not just historically, but now present in 2023. What's the objection? What's the outlook of the Supreme Court? We'll try and understand that. Hi Tarun, good morning. Good morning. Most welcome, all of you. And then second topic is going to be on brain-eating amoeba. Now this caught my eye this morning, and obviously it's difficult to read, but you should read. Okay, what is it exactly? Where is it found? Where is it? What's the exact conditions that you require for, say, brain-eating amoeba to thrive and attack the human population? We'll discuss that. And thereafter, the third one is a follow-up to the NGH discussion that we had just a couple of days ago. We discussed natural gas hydrates just a couple of days ago. And so today, I think it's important that we discuss fracking process. Okay, hydraulic fracturing it is called. It's again a way of extraction of gas from the under the surface of the earth, from the surface of the earth. So we'll try and understand what is the fracking process, because again this question has been asked by the UPSC previously, as well as many other examinations. Okay, it's a very favorite question of, say, most of these competitive examinations. So it makes sense to know it. Hi Pratik, good morning. You're most welcome. Okay, so that's the agenda. We'll dive straight into it. If you haven't so already, please may I request you go ahead and like the stream for me. Or if you want to wait till the end of the discussion and see whether I have delivered up to expectations, that's fine too. Okay. So we'll jump into it for the time being. So first, let's understand through questions. So here is a question that I have for you. Hi Sirisha, good morning. Good morning, good morning. So let's look at this question very quickly. All right. It is the fundamental duty of you, my dear Indian citizens, to respect the national flag, national anthem and national song. Number 2, national anthem of India cannot be amended. Identify the correct statements. So if you want to give it a go ahead quickly. Let me know in the chat. We will be discussing. Okay. If you do not know the answer to this, or if you are unsure, don't worry. After this first 20 minutes are over, you will be absolutely be able to answer this. I'm absolutely sure of that. Okay. So jump into it. Okay. Let's understand what is our national anthem. Firstly, for the uninitiated, those who may not know, well, national anthem is the first stanza of the song Jana Gana Mana. Okay, a poem written by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, originally composed as Bharato Bhagyo Bidhata in Bengali. Okay, and the lyrics of the song first appeared in 5 stanzas in a Bengali magazine in an issue of the Tattva Bodhini Patrika. Can someone tell me who set up the Tattva Bodhini Patrika? Huh? Good morning, good morning. Who set up the Tattva Bodhini Patrika, and who was the person responsible for the Tattva Bodhini Sabha? Go ahead and let me know if you know in the answer in the chat very quickly. Okay, we'll discuss Riyan and Bipen. We have differing answers. Good. You should attempt. The rest of you too. Go ahead and attempt. There is no harm in attempting. Okay. So, Tattva Bodhini Patrika and Sabha. Who was it? Does this name come to your mind? Debendranath Tagore. Have you ever heard of this name, guys? So, you had a magazine. In fact, this was set up as a splinter group of the Brahmo Samaj. Okay. So, you had Debendranath Tagore, who was the person responsible for Tattva Bodhini Patrika, and the lyrics of this appeared in Bengali language. Okay, the first 5 stanzas appeared. Okay. Now, the melody of the song is in Rag Al-Hayya Bilawal. Please know this, guys. You're supposed to know the Rag. The Rag is the melody of the song. Okay, right? The melody of the song. And it was composed as a Brahmo hymn. Now, it was first publicly sung in the year 1911 at the Calcutta session of the Indian National Congress. Now, this is important. Why? Because this was attended by, in fact, at that time, the monarch of England was King George V. So, this becomes an important player in our conversation. We'll understand why he is important. Okay, we'll come to it. And thereafter, you'll see that a formal rendition of the national anthem takes, in fact, exactly 52 seconds. So, if you were to just focus on, say, Independence Day or Republic Day, on Republic Day when the president goes ahead, so that time you will see that the army band, in fact, so they go ahead and they play this. So, you will see that it will be exactly timed to 52 seconds, right? In fact, you see that in, say, the speeches that the president makes just prior to, say, on the 26th of January, you have the address to the nation by the President of India. So, just before he goes live on the television, you will see that the national anthem is played and that will be exactly timed to 52 seconds. So, know these small facts, okay? Because after all, this is our national anthem. It serves you well if you know the details, right? So, this is the history of it. Make sure that you note this person because this person is important in our understanding as we go forward. You're correct, Pratik. Good answer. All right. Okay, so first now, can it be amended? No. Why? Because obviously it's a poem. How can you amend an original work firstly? Okay. Now, why am I asking you this question? You might be like, oh, it's a silly question. So, you had a particular, an application was put in the Supreme Court saying that the word Sindh, okay. You see in our national anthem, you come across the word Sindh. So, the application was saying that the word Sindh should be edited out since Sindh is now a part of Pakistan. Okay. Now, the problem with that is that assumes interpretation. How do you know if it is referring to the geographical area or the river Indus, which in Hindi is called Sindhu or Sindh, okay, or the people who belong to, say, the Sindhi people who are spread across India. So, this PIL or this particular application was summarily dismissed. In fact, then the Supreme Court observed that, well, you cannot go ahead and amend the national anthem, Jana Gana Mana. Okay. So, you have the Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act, which prohibits insult to the country's national symbols, such as the national flag, the constitution, the anthem, and the map of India. So, nowadays you must have noticed if these internet companies, Twitter, Facebook, if they put up like a erroneous map of India, where they show, suppose, the Pak-occupied Kashmir as a part of Pakistan, that's not acceptable. That's infringing or a direct affront to the sovereignty of India. So, then you will see that the action is taken under this particular act. Okay, the Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act 1971. Hi Deepak, good morning, welcome. All of you are welcome, most welcome. Are you able to understand, guys? So, first understand which all are included. Our national flag, the tricolor, our Samvidhan, the constitution, Jana Gana Mana, our national anthem, and the map of India. Do you find any mention of the national song? What is the national song, guys? Quickly let me know in the chat. You must know this. What is the name of a national song? Quickly. बताइए, what is a national song? That shouldn't be so difficult for you. It's very, very easy. Basic questions एकदम. बताइए. Vande Mataram, is it? So anyways, let me know answers in the chat. So what you realize is that if you were to do any sort of, say, affront, disrespect these kind of national symbols, whether in public or in private, whether you're doing it intentionally or unintentionally, you are liable to be, you are looking at a prison term of up to 3 years or fine or both. Do you realize that? Section 3 of the Act says that whoever intentionally prevents the singing of the Jana Gana Mana or causes disturbance shall be punished with imprisonment or fine or both. So, if you were to just stop people from singing Jana Gana Mana, or if you have to cause nuisance that time when the whole national anthem is being, the rendition of the national anthem is going on, or people are engaging in, say, singing the national anthem, and if you cause some problem there, then you are looking at a major problem for yourself. Okay? Now, the part 4, the fundamental duties, it stipulates that Indian citizens should include, that they should abide by the constitution, and that they should respect the national flag and national anthem. Once again, that you find that national song is not included. So what's your takeaway now? Are you going to disrespect the national song? No, you're not going to do that, obviously. But the constitutional position you have to realize, okay, that the fundamental duties exclude the national song. At the same time, you find that the particular act that is there also does not include the national song. The rest of the symbols are included. Good. Most of you have answered correctly. Vande Mataram ka. ठीक है. Are you able to understand this? So national song is firstly not included. Now let's go forward. So first understand this very quickly, because this is, what? You will not find this information given to you in any book, okay? And this is a practical knowledge question. Something that UPSC always, expects an aware candidate to know. So the difference between, say, flag hoisting and flag unfurling. Two different terms, two different connotations used on two different days. Okay? Do you realize? Okay, I have a question from Pratik. Can national song be amended? I don't think so. You realize these are original works. So there needs to be a compelling reason, something offensive or something that has, say, was correct then but is not now. Only then can you even consider of that thought. But these are original works. No court will entertain that particular plea that go ahead and amend the national song. Highly unlikely. Okay. So look at this difference now between the unfurling and the hoisting. So you have on Republic Day, okay, in Kartavya Path, which was previously known as Rajpath. Yes, Rajpath. It was known as Rajpath previously. Now it is known as Kartavya Path. So you see that day, the Prime Minister comes, goes to the National War Memorial, comes back. Then the President comes, is received by the Prime Minister, and then the President goes ahead and unfurls the national flag. Whereas on Independence Day, you find that the Prime Minister straight away goes to Red Fort, and there he hoists the national flag. So what is the difference? Why are these two different terms used? So let's understand that first. Okay, unfurling versus hoisting. So flag hoisting. First, let's see what the Prime Minister does. The flag is tied and sits at the bottom of the pole. So you have a pole, the flag is somewhere here, the Prime Minister comes, there is a escort of the armed forces, the ADC. Okay, normally you will see that it will be a lady officer of, say, the Indian Air Force, whoever is in charge. Because what happens is, the management of these main functions, it rotates between the different wings of the armed forces. So on Independence Day, on a particular year, you will find, say, that Indian Army is the coordinating agency. So you will have an officer of the Indian Army who will be helping Prime Minister. Some years it will be Indian Air Force, so an officer of the Indian Air Force. Some years Navy, so officers of the Indian Navy. So the person comes, the flag is tied here, the whole bunch is tied here, helps, it goes up, you have hoisted the flag. Hi Jyotirmay, good morning. Welcome guys. Do you realize this? This is what happens. The flag is tied and sits at the bottom of the pole. The PM raises the flag up and hoists it with the aim to honor the historical event of the day. This goes up. This whole thing goes up. You have finally gone ahead and hoisted the flag. Independence Day, Prime Minister. Unfurling now happens on Republic Day, which means the President. The flag remains closed and tied up at the top of the pole. So it's already here. All you need to do is it's tied with a string. If you loosen the string, it opens up. Understanding this? So it's tied up at the top of the pole. The President unfurls it without pulling it up like it is done on Independence Day. Difference is, because when India became a republic, it was already independent. Independence, the movement of the flag going up, India coming into existence. Republic Day, India is already existing. So the flag opens from there. The common sense way to understand it. Remember it. Hoist, which means to pick up, pull up, which means India comes into existence on Independence Day. Remember that much. Simple CSAT level English you need to remember the difference. However, if it is asked in the examination, many will get confused. I can assure you. Most students will say, "Ye Lakshmikant mein likha nahi hai." But as an aware student, as an aware candidate, you are absolutely supposed to know this difference. Okay? So make a note of this. I would suggest you go ahead and make a note of this slide. Okay, so now we come back to the discussion around, say, the national flag. So what's the national anthem, in fact? So you had a case, the Biju Emmanuel versus State of Kerala in 1986, which is also called as the national anthem case. You know, you have, say, these major cases that have taken place throughout the history of India. So one of these cases is the Biju Emmanuel case. At that time, what happened was the Kerala state government had said that every day before classes begin, national anthem should be sung by all students. Okay. Now the operative word here is it should be sung by all students. So you had 3 children who were belonging to a religious group called Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay. It's a Jewish subsect. So they stood, understand this now, they stood but did not sing. Samjhe aap? They stood but did not sing. Key difference to remember. Hi Anjali. I know Anjali, it's so interesting, you don't need to remember, see. It's just logical. That's how you remember. That's how aware civil service students should be. If you start mugging up everything, तब तो बहुत कुछ है रटने को. तब तो 6 attempt तो ऐसे निकल जाएंगे. ठीक है? So you had this Jewish subsect, the Jehovah's Witness. So they stood but did not sing the anthem, and so thus they were expelled from the school. So what their rationale was that because the national anthem is a prayer, you know, Bharato Bhagyo Vidhata. You're talking to the oneness, the being who decides the destiny of the nation. So their argument was that since it is a prayer, it is against the tenets of the religious faith to sing the national anthem. Okay. So they went to the Kerala High Court first. The Kerala High Court dismissed the case, said that no, the children are wrong. And so it upheld the students getting expelled. So Kerala High Court said, yeah, it's fine. Then the students went to the Supreme Court under special leave petition, Article 136. That time they went there. So the Supreme Court then goes ahead and deemed it unconstitutional. And it termed it unconstitutional on three parts. One, it violates their fundamental right guaranteed under Article 9, 1A, free speech and expression. That you cannot coerce someone to do. Yes? That there was firstly understand that the element of disrespect is straight away negated when the children stood up. That means there was no malice in the heart, firstly. That they did not partake in the singing is to do with their religious faith. At the same time, it violates their expression, right of free speech and expression. Okay. Then it observes this, and it's a very interesting concept, that right to silence is a part of right to free speech. Do you remember this? Right to silence is a part of the right to free speech. That if I choose to remain silent, no one can ask me to speak up. It's my prerogative. It's my will, you know, it's my ichha. So for example, you must have seen another just tangent of this. You have TV channel anchors saying the nation deserves to know. For example, if you are a celebrity, if you have been caught in some alleged wrongdoing, so now the media will be in your face, saying, give us a bite, tell us, why did you do this, why did you do that? The point is, the nation does not deserve to know. That the person so accused has the right of silence. That we as, say, the citizens of India don't have that right of knowing what's going on from the accused himself. No point. So you realize that's the point, that you can't coerce someone to speak up. ठीक है, उसकी इच्छा पे है. You can't shove mics in the faces of people and say speak up. No, right to silence is a part of my right to free speech. You can't do that. Okay. And then it violates right to pray, because again it's a prayer. Essentially that's what their argument was, that we did not mean disrespect. We stood up because we realized the sanctity of it, but we were unable to sing because it interferes with her personal faith. ठीक है? So prevention of insults, the act that I showed you, it does not mandate singing. Okay. So please realize there's a difference between standing up and singing. So it remains silent on this, but you don't have to sing. Now personally, I think there's national anthem is there to recognize the sacrifices of those who ensured that we got a freedom because of them, and they gave up their lives. So even if you say don't believe in all of this, just the fact that people gave up lives for you so that you and I have freedom, I think that deserves respect for me to stand up and partake in something. But that's my personal opinion. That's not necessary for any of you. But what the law says is that singing is not compulsory, remains silent on standing. Clear? Let me know your thoughts though, So what's your position? Because again, it's a position that will draw people. There will be arguments on both the sides, and the matter is that you should be able to justify your answer. There is no correct answer here per se. Okay? There's no correct answer per se. Please understand that. Okay? So current status. So you had, say, in the last 5 years, the Supreme Court made it mandatory to play the national anthem in cinema halls. And why did it want to do that? To instill a sense of committed patriotism and nationalism. Okay? And this was again overturned by the Supreme Court in 2018, I believe. And when the Supreme Court observed that citizens don't have to wear patriotism on their sleeves, that there should not be a public display of patriotism, and if you do not partake in that public display, you are any less patriotic. That was what the Supreme Court's position was when it decided to overturn it. Okay. So it said, during passing of this order, it said, all present in the hall are obliged to stand up to show respect to the national anthem. Now again, this is a vague word, because what constitutes respect? What does constitute respect? So in the Western nations, children might call their parents by the first name, and that will be considered respectful. But in our country, you try calling your parents by their first name, you'll receive a slap across your face. So see, respect it has different connotations in different places. It is situational respect. So how do you figure this out, right? So this was eventually withdrawn in 2018, and so now you had the MHA order, an executive order was passed, which said that whenever the anthem is played, the audience shall stand to attention. But please realize that this is an order. Okay? It has no particular veracity as such. It can easily be challenged in the court. In fact, if you look at it, there is no particular document in the whole realm of India that cannot be challenged in court. Okay, so an order means nothing essentially. So Constitution does not mention national song. The fundamental duties does not refer to national song. It only refers to national flag and national anthem. Remember this, guys, because this is going to be the point where the question paper will try and catch you. Okay, you will remember the rest of the bit, the hoisting, unfurling, I know that. The question will look to insert the national song somewhere. Don't get confused. National song is not even mentioned in the Constitution, in fact. All right. Okay, let's look at the question, guys. Answer the question for me now. Meanwhile, I'll have a sip of water. Bataiye ab. What are the correct statements, guys? Quickly. If you understood something, if you learned something new in this discussion, well, go ahead, quickly leave me a like as well as answer this question for me now. Right, let's have the answers. Good to see you guys, all of you. Fundamental duty, does it include the national song? Does it? It doesn't. National anthem of India cannot be amended? Correct. Yes? Remember the Sindh example? Okay. Okay, one more thing, very briefly I'll tell you. Not Pratik, this is not correct. No? National song Vande Mataram is not a part of this particular fundamental duty. Okay. Okay, now one more thing very briefly I have to tell you. There is a controversy that you should remember. I remember I had spoken about King George V. Huh? So one controversy that you should be aware of, because again then you will realize, see if this question is ever asked to you in the interviews at least. Okay, this question is from the interview perspective. So what happened was essentially in the Calcutta session, okay, so that time two major newspapers, the Statesman and one more was called the Indian. Yes, only two is correct. Good. Deepak, Kevin, Krishna. Krishna, you should change your last name. You are definitely not that. Okay, you should put the antonym of that. And Anjali, correct. Bahut badhiya. Good answers, guys. Okay, so in 1911, what happened was at the Calcutta session, so it started with Vande Mataram. Okay, thereafter you had Jana Gana Mana, which is the Bharato Bhagyo Vidhata, Jana Gana Mana by Rabindranath Tagore, that was played, and thereafter you had particular pieces which were just singing praises of King George V. Okay, so thereafter national anthem can't be amended because see, this firstly it's an original work, and previously also applications that were moved for removing the word Sindh, no, Anjali, these were summarily dismissed. National anthem is an original piece of work, and the interpretation of that is again, you know, it talks about the whole country. And so this interpretation saying that okay, Sindh is referring to a geographical area and not say the people or the river is again left open. So how can you go ahead and amend it? There is no basis for that amendment. Do you realize? Okay. So in Sindh, what was I talking about? So King George V, thereafter some praises were sung for him. You know, some pieces were sung for the praise of King George V. Now what happened was two newspapers that time said that Jana Gana Mana was the one that was the praise bit. That the song was essentially praising King George V as being the person who will decide the destiny of India. That was the connotation. Thereafter, Rabindranath Tagore had to come out and issue a clarification, saying, you know what, no King George V, VI or any George for that matter can be the one who will decide the destiny of India. For the destiny of India shall be decided by the people of India. Okay. And it was this very King George V who gave Rabindranath Tagore the title of Sir, which eventually that knighthood he returned after the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Do you realize this? So this is why King George V is very important for us, especially if you want to learn about Rabindranath Tagore as well as the national anthem. Okay, because this was the equation that time. You know, that allegation was put on Gurudev. Gurudev came out saying, no, this is not the way. This is not what I interpreted. This is not what I wanted to say. In fact, it was misrepresented by two newspapers that time. Okay, so know this small historical connotation so that ever if you are asked, you know, say in the interviews or anywhere, you should be able to substantiate it with facts. ठीक है? Alright, we'll go on to the second topic for the day, guys. So this closes on the 10th, by the way. Okay, we are just 2 days away from this. 8 a.m. morning batch, the time that you are with me right now. And this is going to be like the way we approach, say you must have noticed how I approach a particular topic. This is how we will approach almost every single topic here. And you're looking at from the prelims perspective, the mains perspective, up until interviews, where you will be told about, say, the detailed analysis of your DAF, what questions will come. 600 सवाल आपको देंगे ना, उसी में से आते हैं सवाल. ठीक है? So this is closing on the 10th. Choose your language of delivery. I am associated with the English team here. So go ahead, sign up. Whenever you go ahead and sign up, it's on StudyIQ.com. Okay, you will see live courses. In fact, I'll do a video on this later this evening. Go ahead and have a look. Sign up for this. It's going to be extremely helpful for you. You know, if you're looking at UPSC seriously, you know, along with a certain strategy in mind, go ahead and sign up. It will be extremely helpful. All right. The second topic, guys, that I have for you, the brain-eating amoeba. Okay, brain-eating amoeba. Look at this, guys. So recently you had a small child in Kerala that fell, that was a victim of this brain-eating amoeba. Okay, so we should understand what is it firstly. Okay, every day I make sure that we do at least one S&T topic because S&T is often under prepared by any student. All right. So this is the name, the scientific name, Naegleria fowleri, a free living amoeba, which means it's a single celled living organism, right? It is commonly found in warm fresh water. Make a note of this first. Just this fact should tell you the connotations of this now. If it is found in warm fresh water, which means looking at how climate change and global sea change, global warming of our seas is happening, our oceans is happening, just not the atmosphere, our oceans are also heating up. You can realize that this could be a problem in the near future, which is why it makes sense for us to study about it. Mains connotation बता रहे हैं आपको, ठीक है? So it is found in lakes, rivers and hot springs, also in soil. Okay, looking at freshwater lakes, by the way, not the saline lakes, freshwater lakes. So it infects people when water containing the Naegleria fowleri, it enters the body through the nose, nasal cavity. Okay. So those of you who like to go ahead for your Instagram, go to the stream and have, in the rivulet, and then have say a particular reel in the river, water, swimming, all of that, you should be careful. All right. This happens when people go swimming, diving, or when they put their heads under fresh water like in lakes and rivers. See, nothing is safe anymore, guys. Right? So the amoeba then travels up the nose to the brain. Okay. From the nose to the brain, where it destroys the brain tissue. Finally, you get primary amoebic meningocephalus. Difficult to, I'll just say PAM. You get PAM. Okay. So now imagine your brain tissues are getting attacked, which means your motor sensors, your whole body function is going to slowly come to a stop. Okay, it's attacking the very heart of your existence. Okay. So PAM is almost always fatal. In fact, you're looking at a 97% death rate. Okay, just 3% survival rate, 97% death rate. Also possible if individual uses contaminated tap water to clean nose. So if this is your daily morning ritual, make sure that you are at least chlorinating your water source. Okay, because this amoeba can be countered by the process of chlorination. Pratik, same reason plus also one more reason. It's extremely unhygienic, water parks. For the reasons we both understand, it's extremely unhygienic. You should never put your head under the water in water parks at least. Don't do that if you love your hygiene. Okay. So it's a heat loving, which means it's a thermophilic. Okay. Warm waters, guys. Which means it loves heat. Okay. Meaning it thrives in heat. It grows best at high temperatures, 46 degrees centigrade, and can survive for short periods at even higher temperatures. Imagine the temperatures that we're living in right now, around this only, no? 45, 46, 44. Abhi thoda monsoon aa gaya, to theek hai, better hai. Otherwise, so we should be careful. And especially in these months, from say July up until September, you are looking at the ideal conditions for this to proliferate. Okay. So it is not found in salty water. Saline water, you will not find it. People cannot be infected by drinking contaminated water. So it has to enter from the nose. You realize that water should go into your nose, the nasal cavity. Only then it will go up to the brain. If you drink it, fine. Your stomach is worse. The environment there is worse. It will kill off the Naegleria fowleri. But if it enters your nose, bad news. Okay. Again, it is not contagious. Make a note of this, guys. These are all prelims feeder points. Okay. So you have bad symptoms. Start from headache and you are ending at coma. Because again, it's hitting the whole brain, no? So it starts from a minor headache, then eventually the situation so worsens that you drift into coma. Okay. So that is brain-eating amoeba for you. So now the question, will this kind of infections become more common because of climate change? Because again, temperatures are rising. Our ocean temperatures are also rising. You have longer summers, right? Don't you think that this is the ideal condition for such sort of organism to proliferate? So as air temperature rise, water temperature also rises. Water level drops. These conditions provide a more favorable environment, perfect environment. Okay. Look at this fact. There is no way you can test for it also. So if there is a water source, if there is a lake, if you see that the conditions that are required for the amoeba are present there. Is there a way you can find out that the water has that particular amoeba? No. There is no standardized testing also. Okay. Preventive measures, go ahead, chlorination, at least for your water sources that you use locally in your home or whatever places. Make sure you are chlorinating it. Okay. Use nose clips, even though I don't know how helpful it will be, and use sterile water for nasal cleaning. This early morning ritual, no, where you will see people will put lots of water and create lot of ruckus in the bathroom. The whole family will wake up because of the noise that they make. So it is it. Use at least sterile water. Don't use the unchlorinated, untreated water, because then again you are risking this particular single-celled amoeba, which goes from your nose, hits the brain, eventually you drift into coma, and then bye-bye, tata, see you, good night. Okay? Make sure you take a note of this, guys. Alright. Let me know. Let me know the answer to this now, very quickly. And if you understood this brain-eating amoeba, well, once again, I implore you, hit that like button, smash it totally. Okay, answer for this, guys. Where would you expect to find this? See, today is interesting topics, because this whole week, no guys, we have done quite a lot of heavy topics, if you realize. Studying about natural gas hydrates, we have studied about freedom of speech and expression. We have studied about whether government organizations should go ahead and fact check. Yes, these are heavy topics, so I realize. So today I wanted to keep it a little light for you. Make it more, say, prelims oriented. Yes, okay, answers please. Where would you find this particular single-celled amoeba then? Would you find it in freshwater lakes and rivers? Absolutely. In geothermal springs, which means heat, which means good condition for this to proliferate, you will find this here too. Okay. Warm water discharge from power plants, yes, because it is warm water. It is thermophilic, no? So yes, I will find it from warm water discharge also. Oceans, it is saline. Will you find it in oceans? You will not find it in oceans. Untreated swimming pool, which means no chlorine. If no chlorine, which means more chances of the single celled happening, you will find it here too. So you will find it in how many? 1, 2, 3 and 5. All except 4. Why not 3, guys? Warm water, no? Warm water discharge from industrial or power plants. It's perfect. It's perfect for it to proliferate. Good. Sandipan. Deepak 3 bhi hoga. ठीक है. Good. Good. I'm happy to see this. Krishna. No, you should also include 5, Krishna. Untreated. No, the chlorine one also you have to remember. Chlorination. The only way you can avoid this menace here, the single celled you see here. So if you chlorinate your water, this won't exist in that water. ठीक है. Anjali 4 नहीं है. 4 नहीं होगा. Oceans is saline, no? You need fresh water or at least warm iterations, warm types of fresh water, or say grey water also. Okay. Grey water, black water, we have discussed all of that. Okay, now we come to the fracking process, because just 2 days ago we had done the natural gas hydrates. And so one student had in fact sent me a whole email asking doubts on a fracking process. So I thought that it's necessary for all students to have a look at it, okay? Because fracking is a question that has been asked previously by the commission also, okay? This has been asked on several occasions in different examinations. So you should know about fracking, okay? So what is fracking? Hydraulic fracturing, technique for recovering gas from shale rock. Shale rocks are essentially what? The low permeability rocks. Okay. Did I not explain to you? Okay, let's do that very briefly, you'll understand. Okay, I'll do it here only. So essentially when you're pulling out gas, okay, when you're pulling out say non-conventional forms of gas, say tight gas or shale gas, which are say existing in low permeability rock structures, below rock structures. Do you know how that functions? Let me explain it to you then. Ruki idhar hi dekhte hain. Alright, let's see it here. Okay, so you have essentially what? You have say fossil fuel here, fossils here. Now what happens is that eventually these small gas particles, they start going up. Now there are 2 types of rocks, guys. One that has pores in it. So this gas can go through the pores. It keeps going up. Then one rock which does not have pores. So what happens? The gas comes, gets trapped under the rock structure. It gets trapped here. Okay. So what you're looking at is to go ahead in this rock structure, make it such that it has pores so that you can extract this trapped gas out. So this is called shale, which has a low permeability. Permeability is what? The ability to seep through, the ability for a particular pressure difference to be created so that you can pull it out. Is that not permeable? Okay. So this is what it is. It is a low permeability rock structure that is called shale. So this is the process that we are looking to do. Okay. You are looking at pulling out gas that is trapped underneath the rock structures. And because they do not have pores, so humankind decided to go ahead and make pores. So you make these pores through the process of fracking. समझ रहे हैं आप? Now let's go forward and have a look at how it functions, guys. Very interesting it will be. Okay. So what is involved is, it involves drilling into the earth. You go into the earth, you direct a high pressure mixture. So you put a mixture to make sure that these pores are formed in the rock structure. Now please imagine, rock structures are huge. They are massive. So to break them down, you need a lot of material. So we'll see the whole structure, how it functions, and you'll understand fracking in like 5 minutes. Okay. So you're putting a mixture, this fracking fluid you can call. Okay, this is called the fracking fluid. So if the question asks you, fracking fluid is composed of what? This mixture that you are putting so that you can introduce these pores. Pratik, I just wanted to revise it for the rest of the class, those who are joining us for the first time. Okay, so look at this. You put water, sand and chemicals, and then you try to release the gas inside. So the chemicals that you're using, benzol, formic acid, which are carcinogenic in nature. Now why is this important? That mixture that we are putting, it is carcinogenic. Why is it important? We'll understand it in the next slide. Okay, correct Bulbul, good answers. So the injection of the fluid, the fracking fluid at high pressure into the rock, it also causes earth tremors. Because you're doing chhechhad with the underlying rock structure, no? So as many as say 100 plus rock tremors can be experienced in and around the area where fracking is being carried out. Okay. So fracking uses huge amount of water. We'll have a look at this first. Look at the process, guys. Then I'll explain it to you by drawing also. So first you drill a hole. Okay. You drill a hole from here. Now you've done feasibility studies that this is the area where we need to pull out the gas from. So you drill a hole. You pump in the fracking fluid. Okay. You introduce pores here. Okay. You pump out the fracking fluid. Then you introduce another pipe, pull out the whole gas. After all gases have been pulled out, then you put back the fracking fluid again to close this whole area. This is the whole process of fracking. In 30 seconds I told you. Okay. We'll discuss it in detail now. Have a look at this. Very slowly we'll understand. So this is the fracking mixture that I have. Water, sand and chemicals. Now what happens? First you put the fracking mixture. Look at this. This is my rock structure here, underneath which is our gas trapped. Now what you do is, after you put this mixture travels and it, you know how a web is formed? So it seeps into the whole rock structure. Why are you putting sand? Look at this. Water is used, sand is used, chemicals are used. Why are you putting sand? So that the pores are not closed. So that there is ample space. Realize? So after you have introduced the sand, the chemicals, the water, now it's like how you would want to declog your nose, no? You put some Otrivin or something. So same thing you're doing. You're trying to declog the rock structure. So after you have put the Otrivin required, the fracking fluid that is required, so now this sand goes and settles, making sure that a web is formed. Now it is opening up. Okay. After that you pull out the fracking fluid. Okay. You pull out the whole mixture, and the mixture is how much? Water, you are looking at 8 million liters. Water intensive process. Okay. Sand, several thousand tons. Chemicals, close to 2 lakh liters. And these chemicals are highly toxic. Okay. When these three are mixed together, it becomes like a highly toxic mixture. It is so toxic that you can't even treat it. Untreatable toxicity it has. Okay. So once you have put the whole fracking fluid, you introduced these sand structures there, you pull it out. You pull out the whole mixture again, all of this, 8 million liters plus 2 lakh liters plus sand, all of it is pulled out again. Thereafter, you start pumping out the gas. Why? Because you have declogged this gas, this whole rock structure. You know, you have declogged your nose, now you're able to breathe. Same thing with the rock. You have declogged the rock, now the rock is able to breathe, which means you'll be able to pull out the gas. Okay, so this is what happens. After you have pulled out all the gas, now the problem so arises. Okay, abhi tak to theek tha ki chalo, you have pulled out the gas. After that, what happens is that you put back the fracking fluid, the highly toxic mixture that you created, that you pulled out before say pumping out the gas. Now you put that mixture back in again. Why? To seal it. So what you do is that whole toxic mixture again goes into this area. Now that mixture that cannot be treated, okay, untreatable water it is, not even water, it's like a connotation, it's a soup. Now that soup starts rising up slowly, and you have the water table here. Do you see where I am going at with this? This toxic soup that you have created now is at risk of say contaminating your fresh water, your drinking water. That is a major problem. Okay. In fact, enough studies also have not been conducted so far to see how this functions. And yet you will realize that close to 60% of new oil ventures, new gas ventures, they are based on the process of fracking. This is what is happening. So you are essentially looking at a water intensive process, 8 million liters of water, which eventually is used here and now is rising up, looking to contaminate your fresh water source. Also, sone pe suhaga, you cannot treat this water because it is extremely toxic. Do you realize the problem of fracking now? Okay. So it's an energy intensive process and you are looking at water contamination. Okay. Massive level of water contamination. At the same time, you have to learn about this, guys. Make a note of this. This is called guar gum. Guar gum is used in this fracking process. Now, what is guar gum? This is what the UPSC had asked some years ago, 2-3 years ago, I think. Okay. So, what is guar gum now? And you will suddenly realize India has a major role to play in this process. In fact, we are the largest producers of guar gum. It's a legume. Okay. Look at this. Have you seen these cluster beans? Huh? You must know about this. Cluster beans. So you see this cluster beans, the powder that you make out of it. Okay. It is used in the fracking process extensively. India is the largest producer of guar. Okay. आपके गांव के आसपास भी होगा ग्वार या गवार बोलते हैं कभी कभी. तो उसका जो चूरन है ना, पाउडर है, उसको यूज करते हैं फ्रैकिंग में. Okay. So that it kind of increases the efficiency of the whole process. Are you able to understand, guys? Extremely important concept, fracking. Once again, if you want me to repeat it for you, I will, but make sure that you harbor no doubts for fracking at least. It's a commonly asked question. More so when you realize that 60% of new gas ventures use the process of fracking. At the same time, you're looking at water contamination. Underlying rock structure causes tremors. Tremors in the underlying rock structure. You realize that there are several tangents that straight away emerge in this conversation, doesn't it? Are you able to understand? If you understood fracking, jaldi se ek baar likho chat pe ki yes, you understood. Let me know that you understood first, because I want to be absolutely sure that whoever is watching should be clear about fracking. Quickly, let me know in the chat. Good answer, Prateek. Excellent answer. Badhiya. Are the rest of you absolutely clear? If clear, then go ahead and answer this for me. It shouldn't be so difficult now. Shale is what? What kind of it? Is it highly permeable or low permeability? If it was high permeability, then the gas would have emerged out anyways, no? Huh? Gas would have emerged out anyways. Clear? Which means the permeability, the ability of the gas to percolate through is less, which is why you are doing the process of fracking. So this is why Shale gas is found in not highly permeable rocks, but low permeable rocks. The permeability is extremely low, which is why you are doing the fracking process. Okay. Guar gum used in extracting shale gas. Hydraulic fracturing used in shale gas extraction, which is the process of fracking. This is in fact a UPSC question that was asked just, I don't remember the year, but it was definitely asked. Okay. Most important for you to understand. So I'm happy most of you answered correctly. Good answers, guys. Deepak, Dipankar, Riyan, Krishna, Pratik, बहुत अच्छे answers. Good, guys. Anjali, I can explain it to you once again. Okay. Guar gum is essentially used, Pratik, for increasing the efficiency of the process, because you realize it's a very intensive process. Firstly, it's energy intensive, water intensive. So guar gum acts as a lubricant in the whole process to make sure that this process happens faster. Okay. Which is why it's very important for, again, India is the largest producer of guar. Yes. Anjali, I'll tell you in one line. Let's understand this quickly. You don't have to go through it again. Here, have a look. So first you put the fracking fluid. Okay. Fracking fluid goes in. You have the rock structure that is not permeable. So it goes ahead and, like how you declog your nose, no? It goes ahead and declogs the rock structure. The mixture of water, sand plus chemicals. Now once you have declogged this, then you take out the fracking fluid again, this toxic mixture. Thereafter you put in the pipe, suck out the whole gas from there. Now you can't just leave it open, no? This you can't leave open. So you have to seal it. But before sealing, what they do is they put back the fracking fluid again, the whole toxic mixture that they had taken out. This is put back in and sealed. Now what happens is that this fluid that goes back in here, in this empty space now it's going to rise up eventually. So once it starts rising up, even though it is at a height, okay, a lot of height, but you are looking at a process that has begun that is eventually going to harm your freshwater water sources. Do you realize? That is the problem. Plus also the fact that this whole process itself is quite energy intensive. You are looking at 8 million liters of water, which is essentially the daily consumption of close to 1 lakh people. Realize that. So this is again an energy water intensive process. Remember we discussed about water credit, virtual water credit, VWC, virtual water trade we had discussed. So imagine the virtual water credit of the gas that is extracted from there. Unimaginable. Unimaginable water usage is there. Clear? So that is fracking for you, my dear friends. With that, we come to the end of today's class. Very short session. In fact, I'm ending 2-3 minutes early only. If you have any doubts, reach out to me on my Telegram channel or my email ID. I'll leave it up for you. Most of you did not answer me the question for yesterday because I realized it was a very difficult question. Okay. The question where I had asked you about is truth monochromatic? I received 1 or 2 responses. Siri, in fact, I'm yet to respond to you. I will do that. But say, is truth monochromatic? Okay, go ahead and research on it this weekend. And what I'm going to do today is, for this weekend, for say today and tomorrow, I'm going to give you 2-3 questions on my Telegram group, which you can attempt. Okay, which will in fact just clear out the whole process for you if you write the answer. Also, the questions that I discuss here, some of them are previous years, some of them are questions that I frame. So go ahead and attempt them. Okay, there's no harm in attempting. Reach out to me if you face any problems in answer writing. Many students I'm in constant touch with and I'm happy to see their improvement. Like it's actually visible, So for those of you who haven't started your preparation yet, start now. Don't delay. Okay. Make sure that you're starting today itself. Use this opportunity. Fracking process harm the aquatic life. See, you're looking at Anjali, the problem is aquatic life is not harmed, but you're looking at problems with the underlying rock structure. You're looking at problems with the water contamination, soil contamination. Those are the problems because they are done in the land-based area. So aquatic lives probably, if you are doing it say nearby a water body or a water source, then that's criminal. That is criminal. Then the company should be prosecuted. But otherwise, aquatic life is not really harmed. Okay. All right. So we'll close the class here. Go ahead and have a happy weekend. Study well. Join my group. If you haven't joined it yet, please consider joining. And for those of you who are already there, I cannot thank you enough because I realized that we have come a long way since we started this session. Okay, Dipankar, scan this. It goes by the name of Bhuvan StudyIQ, BHUVAN STUDYIQ. Okay, scan it, join me, and we will have and learning experience in the days to come. All right. And if you haven't joined the Prelims to Interview initiative, go ahead and at least go through the course module. You go through the faculty profiles and realize the individuals who will be teaching you are not individuals who have just appeared for the examination, but actually cleared it. They know what they're talking about. Okay. All right, Krishna, Dipankar, Sandeepan, Anjali, Bulbul, Tarun, Madhusudan, Prateek, Anjali, all those of you, whoever who took out time this morning, thank you for joining. I'll see you Monday morning at 8 a.m. once again with three very important topics. And I hope that you will take time out to come and join me for that. Before going, please leave me a like if you haven't so already. If there's something you liked, leave me a comment. And if you didn't like something, well, leave me a comment too. Okay, I'll appreciate any feedback. Thank you everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.